Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too, because you are watching content like this. The name of this channel is Holistic Manifesting, because I believe in a whole body, whole mind, and whole being experience when it comes to manifesting these amazing lives that we are choosing. What I'm discussing in this video is knowing when to say no. I know that when we're on our spiritual journeys and we're having our awakenings, and if you're anything like me, that happens over and over and over again throughout your life in different areas of your life, we tend to not always know when to turn off our no's and our yeses, depending on those situations, right? So this is a little guidance that I've always used in many areas, because it's easy to say no to everything and kind of shut everything out, because it makes your life a lot more simple. And then when you realize that there's so many things in life that you just don't have to do, things that you are not being forced to do, like things that you've been told traditionally that was your job and it's your responsibility and you have to take ownership over it, and then you realize that you never had to, and that other people were just telling you that because it's something that they wanted and it was best for their lives. We kind of get into this mode. We do that. We kind of get into this mode to where we're like, I don't have to do this stuff. And then it kind of becomes a domino effect, and we do it pretty much in all areas. Well, sometimes we have to step back and think, is this something that I'm truly saying no to for the right reasons? Or is this something that I'm saying no to because I'm just accustomed to doing that now, and it feels so good, and I've gotten so comfortable with my no's that I'm just on a roll with it, right? Recently, my daughter was making a big decision, and she had been making this decision all summer, and the decision kept going on and on and on. And she landed in one area, and while I wasn't quite sure that she was convinced about the area where she landed, I'm willing to support her, because one thing I do not want to do as a mother is try to change or heavily influence my daughter's decisions. I feel like I've raised them to have good minds, good heads on their shoulders, to be intuitive to a certain degree, and of course that will increase over time, and to try to pass on some of the wisdom that I've collected in this life. So I don't want to get into the space to where I'm just feeding them decisions and telling them what will work best for their lives in all areas, right? And sometimes even with me in that area, I forget that there is some wisdom you have there that you kind of need to push at them a little bit. So sometimes it's hard for young people to make all decisions for themselves. And so I have to tell myself, it's okay, you've gathered a lot of information there, and it makes more sense to do this thing. Especially when it comes to things related to like college. I've noticed that, because I was a first generation college student. When I went blindly, I didn't have any help with how to get anything done. And literally a friend of mine's aunt actually helped me do my paperwork for financial aid and everything. So, and then that same friend is the one who also introduced me to how to go to a dorm and signed up what kind of college to go to and all that good stuff. So I really didn't have any direction there. And so because I have this mindset, I'm often like backing off when it's related to anything important. I'm like, make your own decision. But sometimes your wisdom is very useful, because I was thinking about this. Think about heirs of like publicly traded corporations and stuff. Their children don't always go out and say, no, I'm going to make my own way. No, they latch right onto what the parents have created, and they go from there. I think that's kind of like people that come from a specific background and like specific working class mindsets, because we're told that nepotism is bad. We're told that networking and having friends get you positions is bad. We're told the most basic things that everybody in upper echelon society is using are bad things. And when we start moving through life and we want to improve and expand, we have to realize that those things are what helps your children in the next generation. So that was kind of a veer off from what I was thinking, but she's been trying to make this decision. And one of the ways that I was giving her guidance on it was, when you say no to that particular thing, what is the feeling you have afterwards? Is it a feeling of relief? And that's usually a good thing, right? You feel relieved because you finally made a decision. You finally had a way that you want to move forward in what you were, what you're being approached with. And then another thing is, when you say that no, is it based in something that you were trying to avoid out of fear? Or is it something that you wouldn't be interested? And so you kind of have to tap in to sort of understand that. So we can say no to a lot of things, but sometimes it's based in, I don't want to do this event. I don't want to go to this place. I don't want to experience these people because I'm afraid that when I get there, I won't have anybody to talk to. When I show up, people are not going to like me. I'm not going to fit in the environment. I'm not going to enjoy myself, like all of these preconceived notions. Or it could be a no as to, I don't think this is my tribe. I don't think this is the type of environment I want to be in. I don't feel like this is my group. And I feel strongly that I've done these sort of things before and I don't need to experience it again. Those are like two different no's, right? So that's one of the main things I was telling her was, what is your no being based in? Because she seemed to experience a lot of relief when she made a decision that wasn't going to completely overhaul things in her life in the way that the other decision would. And I told her, give it a day, think, sleep on it. But what is that decision being based in? And I love that concept and that idea because only we know when we're running away from something that's going to expand and grow and change us in a way that we just haven't seen and that we may not be accustomed to. Only we know when that's going to happen. And other people can tell us, well, these are the pros, these are the cons, these are the things that works, these are the things that doesn't. But only we know truly why we're not doing something, like why something is a no or why we're not interested in something. I was recently asked to do this event. It was actually just this past Friday with one of the people that I do work with. And we do the same type of technical work. And it was like an expo that was really niche for like the jobs that we do, but it's kind of like, if I look at the 100% pie of like the type of technical work we do in higher ed, it was about 5% of that space. It was about 5% of that, if even that, right? It's one of those things that people are trying to push into the space, and I've seen it try to become important for the past 10 years. But because the population of students that it serves is so small, it never grows into this bigger thing. And so it was an entire day expo of, looking at the new technologies and the equipment and all this kind of stuff related to it. And I was like, there's no way I want to give my entire Friday to that. And I was thinking about it really deeply. And she was just like, oh, let me know if you want to go. I'll come pick you up and stuff like that. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And I'm really good at my no's these days. I was just like, I'm not going to be able to make it. And I don't give people like reasons all the time, especially if I don't really have one, except for the fact that I don't want to do it. I'm not going to be able to make it. I was like, but keep me posted for anything new that shows up or any new events and stuff. But before I made that decision, I really had to kind of dig a little bit. And I'm like, is it because you don't want to be in a space? You're kind of nervous or apprehensive? And I'm like, not at all. I've been to so many work conferences. I've been to so many expos and events and presented and been a part of things that I'm really sure that no is simply a no of, I know what I'm interested in, I know what I'm not interested in. You know what I'm saying? So think about that even in your personal life and stuff, because sometimes we get on the roll. If it's something related to family and friends, sometimes we get invited to things, we get invited to do things or to be a part of something. And sometimes it's a good event. Sometimes it's low stakes. You're not going to be bothered by the people that's there. It's not going to be a negative outcome probably. You can maybe see that and think like, why am I saying no? Sometimes it's simply because I'm just being lazy and I don't want to do it. Will I regret saying this no? Sometimes we will. Only you know why something is a no for you. Only you know why something won't necessarily fit into your life, right? So just keep that in mind. This is some very practical information for knowing when to say no to other people. And while it's so fun when you get those boundaries established and you get those standards and you realize that the sky isn't going to fall because you are not showing up exactly how someone else wants you to show up in their lives, right? You're not showing up and being this perfect sister, this perfect daughter, this perfect mother, this perfect friend, this perfect employee. You're not, you realize that it doesn't require all of you to do these things, that you can decide what pieces of you want to share with people at different times. Sometimes we got to realize it's like, wait, am I going too far with this no? Like, why exactly am I saying it, right? Why exactly is this a thing? So it's especially important when making good big decisions, because you never want to sit around and regret, you know what, that could have been a fun thing. That could have been a nice event. Recently, I was asked to go on a sort of a trip, like a girls trip, with some women that are close to me, and I never filled out, there's a little form, like, when are you available and stuff. I never filled it out. And one of the people that's close to me asked me about it. It was like, you never did share your availability for that. And what I said to her was that, you know what, I really don't think I would enjoy that trip. And it doesn't feel like something I'm running away from because I'm afraid of expansion. I'm afraid of exposure. I'm afraid of, connecting with certain people, anything like that. There's no fear involved. There's truly just a moment of, I kind of know who I am at this point, and I kind of know how I operate in those types of spaces. And I've done this before already, and I don't want to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different feelings or results. And so I was like, I really just don't feel like I would enjoy that. And so to me, that was one of my strongest and best no's that I've had in that space in a long time. So anyway, know why you're saying no to something.